If I don't say something you like, tune in the following week. We'll say something else. So yes, definitely tune in, and that goes for all the people that you follow. If you're scrolling and you take a time to stop on their page, hit the like button, hit the follow button. I mean, you ain't doing nothing else, so you might as well do that. Okay. And then I was speaking with Brooke. Let me jump back to that. And I said that to say, you see that right there, Blair, that says Pops Gems?
Mm-hmm.
That's that glow in the dark pen that I had designed and made with the help of All Seasons. And I don't have but a couple left here and there. But as a guest, and this is not your first time on the show, so I got to get you and Blair and Braylon one. They glow in the
Yes.
dark. You see it?
Oh,
I don't know if you can
cute.
see it
Put
a
one
little
right
bit.
on my hat.
You put it right on there, and then of course it got the custom design, the pins by All Seasons, and then of course this is one of one. You'll never see another hat like this anywhere in the world. If you do, get it from them because they stole it from Pops. But all right. That being said, last but not least, and we're getting ready to start our interview with our guest. But and very important in these times, am I my brother's keeper? Now I came up with that a little while back because in times that we're in now, there's a lot of thought patterns that go on, and people think about a lot. And you might be sitting one day, and something crosses your mind, or someone crosses your mind. Yeah, that's a good angle right there. And someone crosses your mind, and so you worry about them well-being or what have you. And now let me go a step further. Even if it's a negative somebody, because you have energy, then hey, somebody made me mad. So the way we're going to counteract that, what I came up with, am I my brother's keeper, is I want to take just 10 seconds, and whatever higher power you serve, that's on you. We serve Christ around here, God, the triune God. But I want you to send positive. Oh, that's what that means. I was wondering. I said, he ain't small. What you talking about? Catch it, watch your show. But I want you to send the same thoughts that you had about that individual. Send positive energy, because a spirits transfer, number one, energy transfers. Okay. And if somebody's on your mind, it's not for nothing. They're on your mind for a reason. And if it's somebody that's made you upset or somebody that's ruffled your feathers, then you want to send them positive energy to counteract all that negative. So give me 10 seconds. We'll do that, and then we'll start our show. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. All right. And welcome, 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 welcome. We are here. It is long awaited. My guest is not a newbie, as they say, to the Pops Gem screen. He's been here before in a different capacity. I've been knowing this young lady. How old are you now?
28.
28. So at least 27 and a half years. I watched her blossom. I watched her grow. I watched her develop into this stage, because I truly believe that she has a great journey ahead of her. She has a lot to do. It hasn't even been revealed to her all the things that she has to do. But with that, also placed in her is a great skill. She's a people person. She's very intellectual. She's smart. She got game. So don't try to run no game. She got street and book knowledge. She got book.
Facts.
I'm telling you, because I'm like, you know what I'm saying? Don't try to step up there crazy. Don't think just she a pretty face. But she's very well versed. She's intellectual. She's a teacher, an educator, and I don't restrict that to just anything. Once a teacher, always a teacher, and you're constantly sharing things either by word, deed, or action, how people should respond. And so um, she's very gifted in that. She's very articulate. She's a fun-loving, very down-to-earth person, and of course, her beauty precedes her. I want you to welcome to the show my guest in this capacity, Ms. Blaire Bishop, who has founded and started Girls Love God. So welcome her to the show and her performance. Welcome. So glad to
Hello,
see you.
everyone. Thank you for having me. I'm so excited to be here.
Yes, highly anticipated. So we know you do teaching. We know you
Yes.
teach the children, and we take our hats off, because teaching itself is a great and I've said this before, and you know me, so a lot of stuff I say may sound redundant, but teaching is learning twice. Because
Mm-hmm.
in order for you to present it, you must first ascertain it and comprehend it so that you could present it in a way that even the youngest intellect in the room will
Mm-hmm.
grab it, as well as the oldest intellect in the room. So one of the key points in teaching is you don't want to talk over anybody's head, but you want to be able to deliver your message or your information in a way that's going to be received. And so I take my hat off to her because there's two kinds of children that I wouldn't really want to deal with. Them young babies like she does, because they're babies, and then the older ones because they think they're grown. So
Right.
you can't tell them nothing. But she does it, and she's good at it, and she has even branched out now. I'll to let her tell you, but she has some serious gifts, and so she put together, and we'll get more into it. I don't want to tell it all, but she put together what we call, or what she calls, Girls Love God. And so, aside from her teaching, and she's always ready to be and willing to be on the show, a great supporter, her and her whole family support Pops very well. But as a teacher, but now she comes on with this group. And so without getting too deep into it, I just want to give her space, let her come back and rebrand herself in the group format, and then we'll ask some general questions. If you have any questions in the chat, you're welcome to ask them, and we'll find out a little bit more about this group. I got a couple, two, three questions, and then of course I'm impromptu, whatever flies off. So now let me say this, put the disclaimer, and then I'm gonna be quiet. You're not obligated to answer anything. So if we come into an area that you'd rather not divulge, simply just say, hey, what they say on Wild and Out, I plead the fifth.
Right.
But yeah, if you don't feel comfortable talking about something, that's fine. Not that we're gonna put you in that scenario, but you never know how people gonna feel. So at this point, I present the son and introduce to others, Miss Blaire Bishop. Take the mic.
Hello, everyone. Again, I am Blaire Bishop. Clock it. I am Blaire Bishop. I am the founder of Girls Love God. I started a Bible study for women in general, just to create a safe space to where we can grow and learn, and like mainly a sisterhood, because God has been placing this on my heart for like some years now. And I'm just like, no, it's not me that you want to do this, but literally being a teacher and then being around women in general. I just felt like it was a need for us to like create like a sisterhood, a safe space where we can like grow and learn through Christ. Because I mean, if we can go out and hang out and do other things, why not, create a space where, okay, well, we meet up for other things. Let's meet up to, talk about God. So at first I wasn't going to call it a Bible study because I was like, Bible study might just drift people off because they think that they have to be perfect or related to being churchy. But it's more so of a group of girls just getting together talking about any and everything, whether it's like relationship, whether it's about like your work, your finances, anything that's draining you or anything that is uplifting you. We create that safe space, and then we relate it back to God, because that's who we serve, and that's who's going to get us through everything. So I wanted to be like a cool group, you know what I'm saying? Like, don't think of it too much as like you have to be perfect in order for you to join the group, because we're all not perfect, and I especially am not perfect. So I'm like, well, why not just create a space where everyone is not perfect and we're all trying to get it together, and then just get it together by growing in Christ. So that's where Girls of God came from. And so I have it now every other Thursday. So every first Thursday and
Okay.
every third Thursday of the month at 7 p.m. It's via Zoom. So you can be anywhere to join. You just have to block out that time. Like I tell the girls, like, hey, set your alarm, because you set your alarm to go to work. You know what I'm saying? Just make it a priority, for God to move in your life or to hear, because you might go to church on Sunday, but you need that midweek something to keep you going. So of
Well,
course, I needed to put it sometime, through the week, preferably Thursday, before that weekend come, and you make those,
yes.
those weekend decisions. decisions,
Wow.
we're just gonna revert back to the girls love God. But it's really just a cool little space where, you know, we talk about God and we talk about all of our problems and, you know, even the good things that God is doing in our life, and we just relate it back to like relatable things that's happening, and we just
Okay.
talk, chat.
Let me address a couple things. Number one, and I find this, and I may even be guilty of myself. You know, we've come to the point where in society we stereotype when we hear
Yeah.
prayer group, we hear
Mhm.
God, we hear religion. You know, right away we're like, oh Lord, here come the holy rollers,
Right.
and it's a sad case scenario that for whatever reason, because that's a whole show for another topic for a whole show. But for whatever reason, that the ideology of Christianity or the ideology of religion has been tainted
Mhm.
by those who have gone before and have not executed or have fallen short in a way that we as society hold them to a higher standard. Number one,
Mhm.
and then we forego the forgiveness aspect, and that goes kind of deep. It's like we hold people, and you can even do it secularly. You hold people to a high esteem, but then when they don't meet that level or they fall short,
Yeah.
right away we're quick to point a
Judge.
finger and judge.
Mhm.
However, we forget the human factor that
Yeah.
everybody makes mistakes. There is none perfect, and I don't care what you believe in the world or whatever. There is nobody that's perfect,
Mhm.
and so I've come to the understanding or come to the realization that you can't stereotype anything,
Right.
um, because you may miss something, be it good or bad,
Mhm.
because you set yourself to have what I call tunnel vision. You only see that in this eyesight, and so when people hear of Bible study, girls
Right.
group, oh they're covered up and belong and no makeup
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
and it doesn't have to be that. So I think one of the main things that I would say to anyone interested in pursuing your group is be open minded.
Mhm.
Don't force set what you think it's going to be. Go experience what it is and how you can apply it to your life. And reason being is because what you said, you got young people, you got people in your age group that will come and be able to, like for this example, this podcast. With this podcast, there's opportunity for people to discuss things that they would normally, like you're in church, you can't raise your hand and stop the preacher and say, wait a minute, what you mean
Yeah.
by that right there? I
Yeah.
mean, we can, but we're not supposed to. Anyway, so with this group, please, ma'am, and please, sir, if you're just looking for a fellowship now, men got their little gatherings too, and women, and I think women do it more than men, but it's okay to come together because it doesn't always have to be that you're looking for something. You can have something to bring. And
Right.
what I mean by that is, and I'm sure you've experienced it, somebody will come to the group that has been through something already,
Mhm.
and their testimony, for lack of better words,
Mhm.
would encourage somebody else. So
Mhm.
don't shun away from groups because you hear Bible study or if you hear God. You never know how God is going to move. And then keep in mind that um, you're open to make your own decision. So if you're wishy washy and you're swayed and you can be convinced by everything, then yeah, maybe you need to
Right.
check yourself because you want authenticity. You don't want to just be with this group one day and then this group the next day, and because you're never going to get anywhere. So I applaud you in that. Now, you said it's been on your heart for some years. What was the breaking point or the catalyst to make you say, okay, let's go, I'm going to do it? Because we all procrastinate. We
Yeah,
all
and I am a serious procrastinator because remember we will always talk about how we get our podcast. My background is in broadcast journalism. So believe me, I
I
was supposed to
know.
be doing this Be With the Buzz podcast. I was supposed to be all over TV, but that fear comes and it creeps in, and then it's the consistency of doing it. And like if I'm not gonna be consistent with it, then I don't try to put it out there.
Okay.
But so far I have been very consistent with it. But what gave me the push and gave me the okay is I actually went on a 40-day fast, the Daniel fast when it was coming up. I think it was like March, April, a 40-day fast. And it was just, that time where you connect with God and you just do it. And I'm just like at this point where I'm just like, whatever it is that you want me to do, I'm gonna do it. You know what I'm saying? And then people take that for for granted, and they give God that yes, and then they're not ready for it. Believe me, when you give God that yes, He's gonna stretch you. He's gonna put you to the test. So I gave God my yes, and I've been doing it literally every Thursday. This summer, literally July was the first week that we started the first Thursday and then the third Thursday, because I wanted to be consistent. I wanted to be
Right.
effective. I don't want it to be like, highs and lows, but I do want it to be a safe space for where like, okay, this Thursday or the next Thursday, then I can come in, into doing it. But yes, just being obedient, because like I expect for God to do things for me. And so if I'm asking God to do these things and I'm not willing to do what He wants me to do, then I feel like we're not getting anywhere. So once I give my yes and I start acting on it, I believe that God will bless me. Not that He won't bless me in general, but it just gives Him more confirmation that I'm willing to do it, and He's willing to bless me through whatever it is. So I said, you know what? I'm just going to start with this. But I really realized I wanted to do like broadcast, podcasting, and all these things, but it never would be consistent for me. And like I said, consistency is the key for me. So doing this and being that it's consistent, it made me realize that, listen, if I'm going to do broadcast or I'm going to do podcast, it has to be for Him. Like, I just have come to the realization that it's not going to work if it's not for Him. So I was like, you know what? Let me just try doing it for Him and see how it works out. And I just love what it has become. We had our first outing in June where we had our prayer picnic. It was a beautiful thing. And I just like meeting with the girls, just chatting, where it's literally a safe space. It's like no judgment zone. I am a talker, so I definitely like to
No.
get the girls like engaged. So what we do is we open up with an icebreaker, because of course I'm like a fun person. I'm a teacher, so it's the teacher in me. I open up with an icebreaker. We play this little game to get everyone all cool. Then I give my little real spiel. That's what I call it, like a real spiel, which is like basically the lesson. And then I have discussions. So it's not just me talking all the time. Like, from what we talked about, I have discussions. And then people, they don't really like to talk. I get my little spinning wheel out and I start calling names, because at this
Okay.
point it's not about me. This is not church. You know what I'm saying? This is an
Right, right, right,
interactive Bible study where we
right.
can talk. Like, this is a girls group. This is a girls girl. And I would be on TikTok and I would see like people like, oh, I called up my prayer sister, or I called up my, sister circle. And I'm just like, you know what? Wouldn't it be a good thing that I would have that? Like, if you're going through something, put in the chat, like, hey, pray for me this, or, you guys have any scriptures on that. Like, in our group chat, we like and do morning prayers. They send like, gospel playlists. We send different Christian events that's going on. So it's more so of a community. And I want everyone to be involved, not just me giving the word as if you would be listening in church. This is more so you can ask questions, you can give your advice, you can give your testimony. So during that discussion time, which is like my favorite part, where we, talk with each other and we go through the lesson and things like that. And then I ended off with a challenge. So like, I give them a challenge to do throughout the week, whether it's read your Bible this time of day, or, apologize to somebody who's been on your mind, or pray for the people, pray for your enemies. And then we come back and it's like, okay, did you do the challenge? Did you make it, girl? So like,
Okay. Follow
it's
up.
really
Okay.
a cool thing to be in. It's an hour. I try to keep it within an hour. Sometimes it's less than an hour, but that's just the gist of it.
Well, you got to understand, or so you got to understand. That's just me talking. When you think about purpose, in order for you to complete your purpose in anything, you have to have passion.
Mm-hmm.
But when you have passion, it drives your purpose.
Yes,
So
absolutely.
when you enjoy doing something, and in you it still centers around, with both your vocations, you're still teaching,
Mm-hmm.
you're
Right,
still structured,
right.
and it's just like the lines on the highway. They don't do nothing but keep us in line.
Mm-hmm.
You see what I'm saying? And
Mm-hmm.
so when you're doing that, you're allowing, and from what I'm hearing, not only you're allowing for instruction to be given, but also instruction to be received. It's open.
Right,
It's a dialogue. It's not a monologue. And when I
right.
created Pop's Gems, and that's what I wanted. I didn't want to just, because I can get on there, I can get on here and preach every week, not a problem. X for been doing it 20 some odd years, but that's not what I wanted,
Mm-hmm.
because sometimes you create a defensive wall when you're steadily, it's like I always say, don't treat the symptoms, treat the root of the problem. Don't, and I'll say this in this format, don't tell me I'm going to hell. I know that if I don't do right, tell me how to not go.
Right.
And so I wanted to come up with avenues that would be like areas that you didn't know about that you can discuss without judgment. And from
Hmm.
what I'm understanding from your group, you said it's on Zoom. Love for you to put it in the chat where
Will
they
do.
can get the Zoom, or those of you who are interested. Let me say this way: it's what is the Pinda Instagram in the chat. You know how to do that? What is it? You know how
I
to
don't know
pin
how
it.
to do that, but
So if you're interested in joining this prayer group and you want to get in on the discussions, then DM Blaire and she will send you because there's a link to the Zoom.
yes,
You
it's
just
also
keep
on my page too. So if you just click my Girls Love God page, it has the
okay.
flyer on there with the Zoom link.
So girls love God is girls underscore.
Yes, love God. And for a long time, I couldn't figure out a name. That was the thing. I'm like, Lord, I don't know what I'm supposed to do, but I'm like, you know what? It's girls. Yeah, underscore love God.
Yeah, I got it. Thank you, Nate. Appreciate you. Nate told me how to do it because Nate's with blunts and bonnets, and she let me sidebar there. She does great on the graphics. She does a lot, and so that's another avenue. And
I might
Pops is
need to
open
hit
to
up
that.
Nay. I'm looking for a logo. I still don't have a logo. I need to bother you. I was planning on bothering you. So I called you the other
I
day
got you.
for.
I tell you what. Let's do this because this is dropped in my spirit. For those of you who are creative in that aspect,
Hmm.
Girls Love God is looking for a logo. Please submit any designs that you may want to Girls Love God. Submit it in there, and Pops will collaborate with Girls Love God and maybe get you a little love offering or something for creating that,
Yes, absolutely.
whichever one she picks, and then we'll come back on the show and reveal it. Yeah,
Right,
we'll come back on the
right.
show and we'll reveal the logo and we'll go with that. I might throw a logo into the hat just for sake of conversation. But here's the thing. So you created a group, you got girls coming. What was your immediate target when once you created it? What was your target audience? Were you looking for girls in your demographics or were you just opening it up to females in general?
More so, I mean, I don't mind. It's so crazy that you asked because the first time that I was going to do it, my mom was like, well, I'm going to join. I'm like, no, mom, you cannot join. Only because my mom makes me so nervous and she's been preaching for a long time and I don't want to say anything wrong. I'm like, no, mom, you got it on Sundays. Let me just
You
have you.
know,
This is not that kind of church, okay? I don't know if my girls are going to be comfortable with you here. No, I'm just kidding. But no, more so of like teens and like mid age. You don't have to be like older. I never set like a age limit to it. It's just always been girls around my age. 30s, 20s. Some teens here and there, but
right, right, right.
basically that group that's like in the middle of trying to get there, so I don't get me wrong, I'm not saying that you cannot join. If you are older, you definitely can join. It just was a like a mid young
That's
adult
cool.
group, I should say.
I see an older set as more of a consultation type group, and then I see the girls in the group now mentoring younger girls
Mm-hmm.
because it's a development. Um, some people, and I'm not trying to, I don't put anybody down, but you might not be at the mental or
Mm-hmm.
maturity to handle some of the topics that the older
Mm-hmm.
not chronologically older, but the more older season
Yeah.
might. So sometimes it comes to placement because everything is time and place. And my
Yeah.
kids are in the chat; they'll tell you time and place, time and place. There's time for everything. Ecclesiastics even talks about that. So
Mm-hmm.
sometimes you can't divulge something to somebody too early because it's just like if you pick a fruit too early, it's no good. You got to
Right.
wait for it to mature, blossom, and get ripe. But then by the same token, there's times that you need to reach up. Not all traditions are bad.
Yeah.
Some of them just got misconstrued. So there are some things, there's still, like I say, there's still some manners that you need, some morals that you need, some just basic fundamentals that don't deal with religion, just deals with women
Right.
in general,
Life.
life, and how,
Mm-hmm.
how you're supposed to, you might have. an issue with a young lady and she's trying to find somebody and she keeps running into this, well, of course you're going to give the best information and the best advice that you can, but you're going to be able to relate to a specific thing that may not be covered in the general topic.
Exactly.
So that's what I see for the group. And I had, you know what, I had the questions written down and I put them in my, oh wait, hold on, let me see if I can do this. I'm trying to go around the mulberry bush. Because Blair asked me, she said, "Well, what are you going to ask me?" You know, we
Well,
do
what
that.
are
We
we
do
gonna
that.
talk about? You know, like
What you gonna
as a
say?
journalist, can I get a rundown?
All right.
Like,
We talked about how it started. We talked about what it motivated you. We talked about your current participation. Now, here's where I'm at, and you know, you may or may not be able to answer this. What is your expectations for Girls Love God? What do you see in the future? Not immediate, overall.
overall, um, I see my group, being big. Me taking my group to different conferences, traveling all over the world. I do have plans for our group to where we go to different conferences and we, give out. But I also want us to do community work, and eventually start like mentorships for younger girls. So of course, I'm all about acts of service, but in the long run, I want it to be this big production of just women all over, just countering in and us creating this sisterhood to where we can literally just chat and talk to God, kind of like a group, not like a sorority, but I want to say like a sisterhood, like in
Sisterhood.
Christ. You know what I'm saying? Because
I understand.
everything else we have, you might have different groups for different things. Why not have like a girls love God group? You know what I'm saying? So eventually the goal is to be international, right? Where we can go, or I can go and speak, all over, just giving girls, advice about Christ and how you don't always have to be perfect to get it together. Because most people think that, what I'm saying, like they're not ready to give up their life. And so they think that they can't join because they're still doing the things. That's exactly who I want to join. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
That's
Right.
exactly who needs to be there because like I said, I'm not perfect either. And living in this mid 20 age, you know what I'm saying? You can swing left and you can swing right. You know what I'm saying? So just being grounded every Thursday or keeping having people to keep you like accountable, it
There you
helps
go.
you because in this world, the way that social media presents itself, you will be lost. You'll be trying to keep up with the Joneses, you'll be trying to do everything. So it's basically for us girls that don't have it together, that's trying to get it together, and just holding us accountable for our actions, and just running everything by the word. You know what I'm saying? We might not like it, but what does the word say about it? You know what I'm saying? Because if you don't know what the word say, then you out here doing whatever you want to do because you're not into the word. So just bringing awareness to what God has to say in a cool way, because people think that when you go to church or you go to a girls love group that you got to be all holy and you can't wear your crop tops. Because believe me, I'm wearing my crop tops. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm still being me, but you know what I'm saying? Like it's literally what's in your heart and what you put out. Like someone told me, like you never know, you might be the only Bible somebody read. You, not the actual Bible. They
Right,
might
right,
come
right.
across you and you might be able to say something to somebody, and that's the first thing that they hear or they never heard it. So just being a representation of God, but like in a cool way. Like I'm saying, like
Right, right, right.
you don't have to get rid of you to be, rooted in God. You can still be cute. You can still be cool.
Right. And what I think people forget is that, and again, it's centered around God. It says that we're fearfully and wonderfully made.
Hmm.
And so God created us to be his handiwork. When you take a picture of something, it's to frame it so other people can see it on display. And you
Hmm.
get pride by the comments they get the picture. And so without the stringentness or the uptightness or the traditions of
Hmm.
certain protocols. You can't wear this, you can't wear that, you
Yeah.
got to do this, and it strips away that, and it
Yeah.
allows an individual to find themselves first, and then all those other attributes that come along
Yes. Then
as
that's what I
as you
told her.
grow in self and you gain more self-respect.
Hmm.
That even if you wear a crop top, you're going to carry yourself in a way that it's fashion and not
Hmm.
flaunty. You see what I'm
Right.
saying?
Right.
No, and because there's some women that'll get dressed, and if I'm wrong, correct me if I'm wrong. Some women will get dressed to attract attention. Some
Yes.
people get dressed
Absolutely.
because they like what they wear,
Yeah.
and there's a difference. But again, and it deals with a lot of what I'm dealing with on the show. And shout out to Brooke. Brooke and I have always been on this one. She's more so than I. But on a psychological tip, I've come to where, and it's not, when I say knowledge of self, it's not so much like, oh, the Nation of Islam or knowledge of self. No, what I'm talking about is how are you going to tell somebody what you like when you don't know what you like?
Hello.
How are you going to discredit something that you know nothing about? You
Mm-hmm.
can't allow stereotypes, as I said before, and things like that to taint you or keep you from, like you said, you might be missing a blessing because you had a preconceived notion
Yeah.
about what something was. And so when you
Mm-hmm.
went there, you expected for something to happen. But the key is go and either confirm or affirm different speculations. It may be, you may feel it's too churchy for you, and that's fine. But you may go and say, you know what, this is a way for me to ask, what does that mean in the Bible? Because like I said on
Mm-hmm.
Sunday, you can't stop the preacher and say, well, what
Correct.
you mean
Yeah.
by that?
Yeah.
And it also makes it more relatable. So again, we applaud what you're doing with the young ladies. And then, like I said, when you develop this, um, there's so much potential that can come out of this to where it can go. I know that there's no monetary. You're not looking for anything monetary. Just women coming together. But when you get on a collective effort, a positive group can make a positive change.
Mm-hmm.
And what I mean by that is, I think that, and I'm partial to women. I think that women need all the access to everything they can to better themselves because for
Mm-hmm.
so long women have been dumped upon and looked as the weaker vessel and things of
Ooh.
that nature. But let me drop this on you, and this from Pops. Weaker vessel didn't mean weaker as in inferior. It meant the difference between a plastic cup and a piece of china. Weaker meaning the plastic cup, you could take it and throw it and everything, and it's going to endure that. But China, you're supposed to treat it more delicately
Mm-hmm.
because it's more precious and more valued. And so I think that in society, as a society, have looked down on women of all races, colors, creeds, and all of
Yeah.
that, to the extent that, hey, we got here by a woman. Actually,
Hello.
if you think about it, the women are the king of the queens of the home. They kind of regulate everything. The
Right.
man is the provider,
Yeah.
and it's really the woman that quote unquote runs the house. She just makes it a castle for her king. Tune in next week when we talk about life is chestnut checkers, and you'll understand the importance of a queen in your life. And I said that to say we need more groups like what you're doing to develop younger women because
Mm-hmm.
the values and the morals that is being portrayed now by the examples that we have are not, they're not to be desired, not by me anyway, maybe some other people. But I think it's an opportunity to reinstate and reinstill good old values. Now, yes, it's Christian. Yes, it's God based. But
Absolutely.
that doesn't mean that you have to be a holy roller or come in
Right.
with a Bible and, three crosses and two emblems on your car. You could come as you are just to receive the love.
Right, and that's
And,
what I
and
tell them too. Like when you come, you know God always say come as you are, but you come just like that, and then the more consistent you come, God is going to change you on the outside. Eventually the Holy Spirit is going to work itself out, so you don't have to do anything but just come. Literally, God is going to do it, and like I always tell them, like it takes time to transform, but God didn't say, oh, you can't come because you do that, because like I tell them, no sin is greater than the others. So whether you go and you party or whether you lie, it's all the same thing in God's eye. Good thing God don't think like we think. You know what I'm saying? Because here on earth, our sins are, counted in ways differently, depending on the law and whatever the case may be. But isn't that the good thing about God? Literally, He's like, okay, well, you can't judge me for stealing if you a liar. You know what I'm saying? So
exactly,
you literally can just come literally as you are, and literally the more that you're in your word, the more that you grow, the more you just literally pray. Like I tell the girls, praying is literally that relationship between you and God. That is what creates the relationship. Just as if you were talk to your friends, literally talk to God. And people think that, oh, I don't know how to pray. I don't know what to say. And that's what the girls were saying when we were there. And I literally had to make like everyone pray. Like literally, it's your own style. And when they hear me pray, they're like, you're funny. No, because I literally talk to God like how
Just
I would
straight up,
talk to
yeah.
you. Because like he already knows you. You don't have to hide anything from God. And that's the simple thing. People think that it's more than what it is. And really it's literally
It's not.
just a relationship between you and God. And like I tell them, how would you feel if you had a friend, that you call all the time, or you do vent to God and you just tell them everything you want to hear, but then they don't call you no more? You know what I'm saying? That's just how God feels. You don't just need to call him when you want something. Literally create a relationship with him. And that was like one of my challenges that I challenged the girl. Like literally pray 2 times a day. And you might think that okay, that's easy, but when you think about it, you don't pray that often. So literally I have the girl set their alarm in the morning and set an alarm at night. You set an alarm for everything else. I'm like, listen, set that morning alarm. It doesn't have to be long. It's just the consistency of getting up, praying, and before you go to bed, praying. And literally, once you do that, you'll be in the habit of praying. And then you wait. Most of the time, people don't like to wait, and I had to realize that when you pray, you gotta wait. That's just like somebody calling you and talking to you, and then you don't get a word in. They say, "Oh, I'll call you back," but you didn't even get to say anything. You pray and you gotta wait. You know what I'm saying? Because most of the time we want to hear from God. We want to hear from God, and you want it to happen just like this. And believe me, I want God to come in and sit down and say, "Hey, listen, this is exactly what you need to do." But it comes with building that relationship. It comes with time. It comes with listening. It comes with opening up your heart. And literally, all you're doing is talking to God. It's really not that hard, but you just have to put in the effort. And believe me, he will show up and he gonna show out.
um, go. All right. So currently, just for sake of how long? Okay, how long have you been actually meeting on Zoom?
I want to say we started in April. So
Okay.
April, we're doing every Thursday since April. March, April, May, June, and literally July. So we're going to meet this Thursday. This is the
Okay.
third Thursday of the month. So literally, it's been going on like 3 months consistently of every Thursday. And this is the most consistent I've ever been. So I'm like, Lord, you see me out here doing your work now. You see me being
Trust me, if he
consistent.
don't, I do. I know he does. But I'm just saying.
Right.
And how many participants you think you're up to now consistently? Because I know numbers
Consistently,
drop off.
it's between the ten and the 15 range. Like the
Okay.
first day, I was good. I was up to like 17. I'm like, okay, we doing
Yeah.
good.
Yeah.
But it fluctuates.
It
And so
does.
that's why I changed the date, because I wanted to be more realistic, to where like you're dedicated to, every other Thursday. So you really don't have any excuse, because I'm pretty sure you make time for everything else. So I know summertime gets kind of busy, but for me, I'm off for summer because, like I said, I was a teacher, so I feel like most of my free time is during the summer. However, I did change it to that first and that third Thursday, so it can be more consistent, to where you're like, oh, I had to work, but I'll make next week. I don't want to hear no excuses now that it's every other Thursday. So just keeping the girls on their toes, and giving them time to actually be consistent with it.
Okay. Um, like I said, I'm elated. I'm excited. So, if anybody in the chat has any questions, feel free to throw them in there. We're getting ready to kind of bring this to a head. I just want to ask a couple closing questions on the way out, and then give an opportunity for anybody to, and of course Blaire, to give her comments. Um, I wanted to do this show particularly because I don't know, those of you that are following, well, first and foremost, those of you that are following, you've seen the post for Blaire's, the group, Girls Love God. They've already done an outing, and it wasn't nothing, meet up. And first of all, I went to the club, it was in the park,
Yeah.
and the bottles they had were filled with oil, not with liquor. You know what I'm saying? But it was an activity, it was doing
Yes.
something, it had purpose, it
Hmm.
had meaning. And if it's like that at this onset, at this early, because she's been exposed and dropped a little background. Blaire's been around this all her life.
All my
Her
life.
mother is the queen of bringing women together,
Yes.
and we'll talk about it on another show. But spiritualities, trust,
What?
what we've
Yes.
been there,
And I told my mom, I
literally.
said, Mom, this ain't nothing
The
on you,
same, yeah.
girl.
This,
But she was
yeah.
like,
This
keep
is
working. working at it. Despise the small. Believe me,
Yes.
it's gonna come together.
And that's what I was gonna say. You got to understand that for you to even step out
Hmm.
in all the opposition that you would face, but it's imperative that we do this, and I believe that it's in you. We've talked over the years, and I've always seen. I thought you was well. I'm not even gonna say I thought you was gonna be. I thought you was gonna follow more in the preaching, which but you are in your own way. Um, you definitely have the gift of gap, but it's okay because it takes it takes different. Paul said, "I became all that I might say, all to all that I might say some." It takes different things to attract
Yeah, a different approach.
different approach. And when you have an opportunity for women to be able to come together without being judged,
Hmm.
without having a certain standard, they have to. I mean, of course, you got basic, rules and
Yeah.
regulations type of scenario, but I'm saying you don't have to come from a certain financial background. You don't have to come from a certain status quo.
Yeah,
You
you're
could,
not in
as
a
they say,
box.
you're not in a box. You could come and glean something. You don't have to. I mean, even you don't. Let's say you don't believe in God. You just want to peek, see what it's about.
Hmm.
You never know what's going to happen. There was a lot of times I said I wouldn't do something, I end up doing it. That's why I say you never know. But as far as Pop's Gems go, create that logo, submit it. What is this? This is let's set a date. Let's set a date. This is July
14th.
14th. So because you go back to work when August. When do you start teaching again?
The first day of school is August the 11th. Don't remind me that I am.
All right. So I don't want to take it to back. 2 weeks. The 28th. By the 28th, submit your logos by the 25th of July. On the 28th, we'll come back. Even if we don't do a full show, as long as you're available, we'll reveal the logo that was chosen.
Yes, please, please, please
I
give me
got you.
something. I
I
need
got you.
something girly, but something, Christ-like. Um, prefer the colors pink and yellow or pink and gold.
Okay, there you
But
go.
whatever you decide to do, I trust that you're dope at what you do. So, hey, just shoot your shot, is that as they would say. Shoot your shot. I need help. I need help. I'm trying to get me some merch eventually. We had a shirt, I want a little
You
cute,
need
and it was
to.
like a little
Okay,
tank
so
top because I'm girly. I
let me
started
let
looking to
me
make the
okay
crop
let me
top, but
let
I
me
said, you
jump
know
in there.
what?
Wait, let me jump in there while you say that. Seasons, that's your cue. Get with Matt. Matt does that, and he'll create. Once you get the logo, he'll put it on
Mm-hmm.
the shirt. He can mass produce for the girls. He can do,
Say
yep,
less.
yeah. So yeah, get with Matt. That's his forte. That's what he does. And matter of
Yeah.
fact, once the logo, matter he might even be able to create your logo. I'm speaking ahead for him, but once that's done, like for example, you see, put this side up. See the logo? I sent it to him and he embroidered it in my hat. Matt did this. So he can do shirts. I had my shirt made that said Pop's Gems. There's a lot of different stuff. So you want to check with him, get that
Okay.
shirt made. Matter of fact, the winner of the logo, and write this down, we'll get them a shirt for free.
Right, right,
Whatever
right.
we decide on, we'll get them a shirt for free. All right, gotta ask, restricted to just females, right?
Just females.
Just
Sorry.
females, okay.
Sorry,
Just
guys.
females. That's
Just
okay. That's
haters.
all right. It's all
We're
right.
talking
Yes.
about you, believe it or not. I'm just kidding.
Lord, something else to pray for. Tap in with me. Yeah, you see, Caesar said he got you. Also, what else was gonna? Yeah, he got all kind of memorabilia. I mean, you can go to the extent of pins, hats,
Yeah, I want some cute
all
stuff
kind
for
of
the
stuff. Yeah,
girls.
trust,
Yeah, start
trust. He would be
getting
the
some stuff.
place to shop, and then set it up to where they just got to order off of the website. All you do is send them to the website and tell them, "Hey, go there and get this as our new shirt," and then that way, Caesars will handle everything, shipping, distribution, the whole
Right.
nine.
Say no more. Say no
Yeah, put them
more.
in there. Put them in there for the plug. Pops wants 5%. I'm just saying. Oh,
No, for real, I gotta follow you, man. I'm gonna hit
yeah,
you up
follow
when
him,
work
and, and
something
and
out.
he'll definitely get you with that. And then, of course, anybody else too, you're welcome. I'm not secluding this to just Matt. The more the merrier. Matt might she might have something Matt can't do, somebody else can do. So I'm not just promoting him because he's my son. I'm promoting him because that's who I know, and he does good work. So, and then of course, I go all the way back to where was it when we used to do the T-shirts when
I
it was
whew,
way back then. So trust, I'm with you.
whew.
So all right, Thursday, this coming Thursday
This coming Thursday at 7
at
via
7
Zoom.
Eastern Standard Time on
Yes.
Zoom. DM Blaire at love girls underscore love God.
Mm-hmm.
Girls underscore love God. It's pinned there. And then she will give you the Zoom link. Go on there, support her, and
Tell a
then
friend to tell a friend.
tell a friend to tell a friend. Bring another friend. If you're nosy, come on. If you need help, come on. If you're hurt, come on. If you
Right.
got a story to tell, come on. The door is open uh, to any and everyone. I promote this wholeheartedly. You got my support. Whatever Pops Gems can do to promote, help promote, we're definitely going to shoot you this way. I am looking for a co-host. Hint, hint. Put it out there. So you might want to mention that in the group if anybody else got the gift of gab. A couple things I want to touch down before I go. Number one, happy belated birthday. You turned
Thank
you
you.
turned the
Thank
birthday.
you. I'm
Happy
a
birthday to
July
Blair.
baby.
Yep, July baby. And then Jova also celebrated his birthday. He's 20. He's on the way to the pros for the major league. So
Happy
yeah,
birthday.
happy birthday to Jova. He's in the chat. So happy birthday to all you July babies. What else was I gonna tell you? Next week we're coming back with Life is Chess, Not Checkers, Part 2. We're gonna spin the block. A lot of information on how you moving. Life is a game of chess, not checkers. You could find Blair at Girls Love God every other Thursday. Follow her on Instagram, TikTok, all of those
Yes.
platforms. Spread the word. Tell a friend to tell a friend. If you don't invite nobody, send somebody. Don't forget, shout out to Clear Minds Therapy with Miss Brooke Bishop. Shout out to All Seasons in the chat. Gotta have seasons in there for all of your everything needs. You name it, you can probably do it. Um, shout out to the Exotic Pops, to the B&B crew. Thank you for tapping in to the Safe House crew. If you miss any show live, you can always see it at Pops Gems on YouTube. At Pops Gems at YouTube. Blair just posted "Living Like Blair" is her
Main
Instagram,
page.
her main Instagram page, so you can get her there. If you are, if you have any ideas, anything that'll help promote, because I think the key factor, the key ingredient in society today is that there's not enough cohesiveness and
Mm-hmm.
humbleness of pride for us to join together. In order for self to advance, there has to be a collective advancement.
Mm-hmm.
Think about it. So again, this your boy Pops. We right at an hour. I'm elated. I'm so glad to have you on the show. We could talk forever.
For
Uh,
sure.
uh, Thank you so much. Much continued success. Much prayer for the group, and just remember that nothing that has been placed upon you you've not been equipped with. So them days that you feel like I can't do this no more, because trust me, there's Mondays I feel like just keep pushing because it's not about you. It's
Mm-hmm.
about Girls Love God. So thank you so much for coming on the show. At this time, we got
Thank
about
you
three
for
minutes. Any
having
closing
me.
remarks?
No, I just want to say thank you for having me to share this space to, invite everyone to the Girls of God on Thursdays at 7. Hope to see you there. Hope you're making good choices in life. Um, and let's just grow in God in a cool way. But um, that's pretty much it.
All right. Again, thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for tuning in. Thank you for thinking it not robbery. Don't forget tomorrow night, B&B crew. Wednesday, you got the safe house. Come back next week. We're gonna say something, and then again, I hope that some of you tune in. Don't forget, you got till the 28th. The 28th, we're gonna come back with the logo
Yes,
revealing,
I need
and
that.
uh,
I need
and,
that.
and we're gonna get that done.